Make sure to like Cavemans Corner on Facebook and definitely click subscribe right now. You'll keep up to date with MMA news, you can hear our podcast, and see our funny videos. Click subscribe and the bell. Do it now! I'm in Cavemans Corner. I'm here with my man Eugene Chadwick, or Butch Chadwick as we call him. Sorry about my voice. I was just out. We had fights last night, me and Coach Amanda, when we went out there, and we smoked it, right?
Yeah, oh man,
Tiger, did great. Butch went out, and what did you think about the fights?
The fights were great. It was a great card. Amanda really surprised me because with her strength, she really dominated the fight with her strength. And then once it got on the ground, it was lights out.
Yeah. Dude, I thought she was going to go Hulk Hogan on that guy.
Yeah.
She had her up like this. I thought she was going to slam her down. Like, I could hear I'm a Real American playing in the background, dude. It was great.
Yeah, that body slam was, I think the fight was won right there because it was just, you were no match. Boom!
Dude, we definitely won the fight in the locker room. So yeah. I had her, we were on the mat, and I was like, oh, let's fuck with her. Let's do some jumping triangles, right?
Right.
So she was doing jumping triangles, then we drilled some triangles, we drilled a bunch of ground stuff, right? So the girls watching, so yeah, whatever. Like, they knew she was going to be a ground striker, right? So then we went up, and like I taped up her hands, and then Dr. Kroll stretched her out, and everyone's watching because we're up on the stage. We took the main stage, so like everyone was like looking at us while we were warming up and stuff.
Awesome.
No. So everyone's down in the locker room. We went up on the main stage, and I was like, let's go up here. And it worked out really good. And no one said anything, of course, because I'm me. And I just do whatever I want to do. And we went up there, and it was great for the first fight. And then we went down. I had Amanda kick pads, so she's kicking the pads like whomp, whomp, you know, because she kicked so hard.
So hard.
That girl just took the towel and put it over her face, and just
it's over.
Yeah.
Mind games are the best.
Yeah, dude, they're
the best.
We gotta do, right?
Yeah, you gotta win everything.
And like having a good coach is important sometimes. So
it's everything.
Yeah, mad respect to you. Catlin did a good job. She did her very best. Catlin Phillips. She came out, but I don't know. Maybe you need to get with a little bit better gym. Can help you out just a little bit. Like there's nothing wrong with training traditional martial arts, but you know, you have to look at your record and see what's going on. Sometimes like if a bunch of my guys were losing, I would like really go back and look and see what's going on, you know, like why are we losing, what do we need to add, you know. Having a gym that you love is a really important thing, and we try very hard to have that same kind of atmosphere here.
That's what it's all about here.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about. But I think you're right. Like I give so much credit to a fighter for stepping into the ring. No matter the outcome of the fight, it takes a lot of courage to do that. And you know, I think you have to look at your coaches and be comfortable around your coaches and understand you're willing to do what they tell you to do. A lot of times a coach will tell you to do something. I know this from my years of coaching, and you just don't do it. And it's frustrating for them, it's frustrating for you, and it's really cool to see how you and Amanda vibed and how that all came together through the course of her camp. She really, I mean, she wouldn't even, I was like, Amanda, do you want me to put on all the gear and you can just beat me up in a corner for like 5 minutes? Yeah. And she like looked at you and you were like, no, that's okay. And she was like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, like it wasn't that smooth, but.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
So it was like, it's really important to have that good vibe with your coach, and your coach needs to know what he's doing too, so.
Yeah, that's important.
Really important.
I wanted to bring in, man. How old are you?
I'm 54. I'll be 55 in October.
And you just had your first fight, man. What did that feel like?
So,
Same school.
Yeah. So people have asked me a lot about what it was like to step in there and what it was like to win and be victorious. And before I start this, R.I.P. to John. He's not with us anymore. He was a good guy, and I'm sorry that happened to him. But, you know, they asked me what it was like to win, and I said, you know, I was there for the birth of both my sons and my wedding. And those are like, you know, you get to those things, and it's unbelievable. But there is nothing like that feeling, and that's what I said to Amanda, and she looked at me today, and she was like, you're right. You were right. I was like, there's nothing like hearing your name being announced and your hand raised after you've trained so hard and worked so hard, and everything you did came together perfectly, and it got you the W. And it's a pretty amazing feeling, especially being an old guy, too. That was pretty cool.
How difficult was camp for you? I know you were doing 2 days at $54. That's pretty fucking amazing.
So Camp was tough. The one great thing was coach set me up with my coach.
Yeah.
We gotta let everyone know you're my coach. You set me up with a really good fight where I didn't have to cut a whole mess of weight. I only had to cut like 15 pounds.
You're like, I can cut more. I'm like, nah, we're not cutting more.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, I can get to 170, and you're like, whoa. So I didn't have to cut a lot of weight, and I think that was super important. But yeah, man, doing 2-a-days with you and then with Doug and John in the morning, and then trying to work a full-time job, it was hard. You know, it took a lot of balance, but
and a family.
And a family. You know, 2 sons going through their lives and living their lives and trying to be involved with them, and it was something else. But I'll tell you, focus was everything. I had to stay so focused throughout the whole thing, because the minute you lose focus, you waver off path, and then that's when things start going wrong. And I just had to stay focused every day on what my mission was. And at 5:30 in the morning, my mission was to train with Doug and John, and then I would go home and I'd shower, and my next mission for the next 8 hours was to put in the best day of work I could. Then after that, my next mission was to come here and train with you and get coached by you, and you know, it was about focus, and it was awesome.
How did you feel after? Were you pretty exhausted? Were you happy it was over, or did you miss it? Like,
I'm not gonna lie, I miss it. I miss it a lot. I haven't accomplished many things in my life, and that was one thing I did, and I miss that feeling of being focused all the time, having a purpose, and just being driven. It was an unbelievable 2.5, 3 months. It was some of the best 3 months of my life.
The garbage can remembers you.
What's that?
The garbage can remembers
Yeah, the garbage can remembers you. Yeah. So I threw up a couple times, truth be told, right here in the gym. I threw up in the garbage can. I would tell Jeff I want to go hard, and the next thing I know, I'd be puking in a garbage can. And of course, he filmed it, because that's a badge of honor. But yeah, man, I miss it a lot. I love training, and I still train hard, but I miss being that focused and that driven. It was awesome.
And like, I miss, like, from my fighting career, I miss that. Like, man, I just got to do this. I don't have to do this. You know, like, I had to watch everything I ate. I had to, like, get up at 5 in the morning, train all day. Like, then you go to work, and then you got to train all night, and then you got to go lift weights, and then you got to get your sparring in after that, and then you get home at like 1 o'clock in the morning. You got to start all over again. And, yeah, that's crazy.
You were so my level is like down here. That level's up here.
Yeah.
For those just beginning, Jeff was a professional fighter, and what he did was not human, but he did it, and it just shows you, like, when you see those guys fighting on TV at that level, any fighter, you know what they go through, and it was cool to be a part of that. I had about 1/10 of what you did, what you went through, but I was doing it. You know, I was watching what I was eating. I was working out. I was training hard and getting my cardio in. Cardio was really hard because I'm old and I was just a fat guy trying to lose weight. But I got my cardio, man. I was ready to go. I could have definitely went 3 rounds, and it was cool. But listening to your stories about what you went through and how many rounds a week you did, like, I told my son Josh, I was like, "You're not gonna believe this."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, man."
We didn't know any better, dude. We were just like, we should just fight more.
Yeah.
If you want to get better, you just fight more.
Yeah, and it's crazy how it's evolved, right?
Yeah.
How fighting has evolved and training has evolved, and it's been so
I
specialized.
came from the bare knuckle days, dog. My first fights, no gloves, no weight class, like no rules. I watched it grow. I was here.
So you like fought legitimate, like, UFC 1 rules?
Yeah.
Holy crap!
That's the way, man. Like,
That's-
OGs.
Wow, man, that's unbelievable. I'm telling you, you should write a book. I'm telling you, I'm going to grab a pen and paper and we're going to sit down and write a book.
Yeah.
Life of a Fighter. It's so crazy hearing these stories. Oh.
I got a lot of good stories, man. I've been doing it a long time. I got a lot of good coaching stories. I got, man, all kinds of good
What was the
stuff.
best feeling you ever felt in the ring?
Uh,
Like, is there one particular time or whatever that you got a W, you weren't supposed to get it, something like that. That
Well,
it was like an unbelievable feeling.
Dude, it's hard not to go with the 4-second kick. Like, it's almost impossible. Like, you train so hard. I came out of retirement. I've been retired like almost 4 years at that point. And like to come back, I reinvented myself. Like, I had that really tough loss to a really good guy that fought in Glory. And like, I would just come forward. I didn't really care about getting hit. I like evolved my whole style. I worked with Coach Herbert, like Dominic Cruz style footwork, and just getting out of the way and just evolved the way I fought, because I knew there's other people that I just couldn't break down. And like that Venasrat fight was a eye opener for me. You know, like I knew I couldn't. I always thought I could just out tough people, and I could have fought 100 rounds and never out toughed him because I couldn't hit him back. You know, so coming back out and then just knowing exactly what he was gonna do, and like my dedication and studying a film and knowing exactly what he was gonna do, and know exactly that everything just played out in my head exactly like I thought it was going to, and land the exact kick I wanted to, the exact angle I wanted to. Everything was perfect. And then the fight was over. That was probably the best moment ever. And just coming out of retirement and knowing I could still do it.
That's so cool. Yeah, there's nothing like that feeling where it all comes together perfectly at that specific moment. Like when I knocked out Gearhart, we worked on those knees right there. We worked on throwing that knee when he's up against the ropes and in the corner. And you know, you taught me about clinching. You're gonna allow one shot in the clinch. So I clinched. I let go, and I threw another knee, and it was just like I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about the fact that like everything that, you know, we worked on. The only thing we didn't work on is when I called him in like this and he caught me with that right man.
We talked about over and over not to do that, so we did kind of work on that.
Yeah, we talked over and over, don't be flashy, just be you. And I called him in and dropped my hands, and John let me know about it, and caught me with a really good right. And that was good. But it's an incredible feeling. And I think, like, how does it feel for a coach? Like when you're a coach and you see a fighter evolve, like with Amanda, right? So you saw a mom of two, a wife, a full-time worker evolve from this jiu-jitsu person into this savage fighter. Like, she really went savage in that ring. Like, what's that like for you as a coach?
As a coach, it's gratifying to get the win. But for me, I'm usually more about coaching a person. So watching Amanda grow and being able to say like no to things and like really get a backbone and say no and grow as a person. To me, like that was the biggest thing about her fight camp, is her becoming whole as a person. And part of that for her was being able to perform in the ring with all the pressure on and being focused and not being ADD and having her mind like shoot 10,000 places all over her, you know. She came out, she did exactly what we were going to do. She got into situations we said she was going to get into. Just like her, like I told her she was going to get on the cage, she was going to step in, hit that girl down on the ground. That's what she did. I told her we were going to get in that over-under plum clinch, and instead of getting hit, she hit her. And so she didn't need to turn her down, and she picked her up like Hulk Hogan instead of turning her and fucking threw her on the ground. That was like great. Obviously, I knew she was going to dominate when we were on top and mount. Like, I wasn't worried about that. I was a little, I know she was just playing around, but I wish she would have had a little bit more killer instinct and just went there and just broke that girl's arm right off the jump instead of playing around.
Right.
That's what we talked about. But I know, like, she was feeling free in there and she wanted to do her thing, and that was cool. With you, watching you accomplish a goal at your age, when you thought you couldn't do it, and I know how hard you get on yourself when you come up short, and watching you grow and be able to take criticism, like I feel like that was the best thing from your fight camp. Like I like to watch people grow as a person. Awesome. And like our relationship, and like watching you take criticism. You, no offense, you're pretty pig-headed sometimes, and you took my criticism at first. You're like, whatever, and then we go hard and we bang it out, and then like, you know, we do all the bond. And now you listen to me, and like, well, I'm like, yeah, of course that's what happened. That's what I saw happen. I'm gonna be your coach. I know that's what's gonna happen in the fight, you know. And then we were able to work it, and the exact things that happened in your fight happened in the fight, you know. Like
everything we talked about was exactly like that. And like, I think the thing for me was you know, I followed you to your gym because I felt connected to you. Like there was this bond that I had with you. I don't know what it was.
It's gonna make fun of you a lot.
Yeah, it's because you make fun of me. And then, you know, what ended up happening was through the course of camp, like I grew as a man, and I became a better person. And you know, that's because of you. You know, you pushed me, and Doug pushed me, and John pushed me, and I just kept getting pushed, and I kept getting pushed, and I kept getting pushed, and I didn't fight it. I just took it, and I tried to get better. And anyone that's thinking about fighting, it's so important to have that good bond with your coach. You got to be with a coach that you trust, because I believe every word that you say to me. Anything that you tell me to do, I try and do because it's right.
And it doesn't start out like that. This is not something that,
No.
like, when you first start, you're not going to get this off the jump. Like, this is something that you develop over time and sweat and blood in the gym. And that's what we did, and that's what your coach should be doing with you if you're in a good gym.
You know, so a funny story. I got to tell this story. So I was at a different gym, and I'm standing at the counter, and they say this guy dropped out of a fight. And I'm thinking in my head, I've been training like 8 months, man. I'm good. So I'm like, hey, I'll fight. So at the time, you were just doing integrity on Sundays at Dr. Kroll's place. So you caught wind that I said that, and you're like, hey, you know, I hear you want to fight. Let's spar. So so this is in front of my child, my wife, and all the members of the gym. You made them watch. And at a minute and 30 seconds, I was breathing so heavily and then so beat up. I was like, can we take a break? You're like, sure, we can take a break. And you're like dancing over in the corner, talking, laughing, joking. I'm bent over. Then we started again, and I was on the ground. I'm freaking upside down. I'm getting, you know, you would start to choke me and then let it go, beat me some more. And you're like, that's why you can't fight, because there's a lot more to it than that. And man, that teach me a lesson. And right then and there, I was like, I'm going to run through walls for this guy, because that was the only way I would have been able to understand. And you knew that. And that was so cool. It wasn't cool at the time, because I was really beat up and embarrassed, like humiliated. I thought I was this pretty tough guy, you know. And
You are a tough guy.
Here's 145-pound man just abusing me in front of my wife and you had to be there, but it was a great time, man. And it
all
really
of
showed
stories,
me.
all of the things people say about me sound really bad when they talk about them.
But we had a lot of fun, and it was good. But I'll tell you, when we went hard in here, and you're like, do you want to fight? And I said yes, and you're like, I think I got to fight for you. And we went hard that day. I feel like you tested me.
I did.
I feel like you went extra hard on me to see if I had heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and in my head, I knew that, and I knew I had to keep moving forward, and I had to block everything out, and I just did the best I could. And when we were done, I felt like you looked at me, and you're like, I can work with that.
Yeah, I do that to everybody. I did it to Amanda too. I beat her up pretty good. And that sounds terrible, beating up a girl pretty good, but
It's not. You're a coach,
it's
and it's a fight.
it's real love when your coach beats you. Sometimes there's abusive coaches and there's this. So this is one time. Like, this is to see if someone can fight. If you've already got fights, I know you can fight. We don't need to do this. If you want to fight, I have to see how you're going to react when you get hit and the pressure's on and you're exhausted. And when you first start fighting, I can do that to anybody. I don't care what kind of athlete you are. I can break you down. As you get better, you're probably going to do this to me. And I know I'm going to keep going too. Like, I've been through this 1,000 times. Is what fighting is. But if you're going to break down, there's no sense investing all this time. You have to put so much time, energy, and love into it. And if you can't put that in, and you don't have the heart to do it when you haven't even have anything invested in it yet, like, it's the best time to give up, because like, there's so much to it, and you're gonna want to quit so many different times. And it's not just a physical part; it's life. You're gonna have problems with your spouse during it because you're gonna be in the gym too much. You're gonna spend less time with your spouse. You should probably spend more time with your spouse instead of being here training. But like, you can't do that and then win. So you got stress at home. You can have stress at work because you're gonna be tired all the time.
All the
And
time.
You still have to work, and your work can't suffer.
Nope.
So like you still need to pay the bills, and then you gotta come train after all that, and you're tired, and you gotta do that for months at a time, or years at a time if you're a coach, you know, and that your coach is going through the same thing. It's less physically demanding, but like it's hard work to keep track of everybody. It's hard work to have everyone's best interest at heart. It's hard work to know who's got to fight when and who needs work now, who needs rest now, we need to keep safe, we need to beat up. There's a lot to this sport, and I need to know when I fight what kind of person you are, and that's how I find out. And I got to find out if you're determined or not.
I think it's about mutual respect too. Like
Yeah.
you're doing that out of respect. You're not doing that out of anger or malicious intent. And that I knew when we were sparring hard that day, and I've seen you spar hard with my son, I knew there's a complete level of respect and love there. And when you feel that, you understand that, and when you're in it, it's not as bad.
It's actually hard. There's no ill intent at all. It's actually hard to balance. I need to push them a little bit harder, but I need to not hurt them. Like I want you to suffer the most as possible. Like I can't let you quit. So I need to make you suffer, but I can't hit you hard enough to actually hurt you. I need you to keep moving. I need to rock you so you don't know where you are, and you're tired and you're hurt and nothing feels like it's going, but you have to keep moving. You have to go forward, and you have to feel that. And that's going to happen to you at some point in your fight career. It happened to you in your fight, your very first one. It didn't happen to Amanda yet, but you know, Hugh ate Gearhart's right hand. Gearhart dropped like a really good fighters with that right hand, and he dropped you too. And he was celebrating. So I just watched the fight because I knew we were going to do this, so I rewatched the fight. And when your hands hit the mat, he's like, whoa! He's jumping around, celebrating, dude. And I was like, oh man, I make your heart happy, better knock that motherfucker out. And then when that happened, I was like, damn it, Butch. Yeah, we knocked him out. And then the fight went the way we wanted it to.
My man woke me up. That was a big wake up call. Like, oh shit, we're in a fight, man. You better stop fucking around. And that's, yeah. Pissed me off a little too. I got mad at myself for doing it, like putting myself in that spot. I could see you and Doug over there shaking your heads like, what? We didn't go over this. Like, this is not what we did.
He can't be tired. Yeah, it's like 30 seconds. I kicked him a shit ton.
Yeah, I kicked him a bunch, and I wasn't tired, but I was pissed. And that's what happened. But yeah, you know, I think like the kind of like what we're talking about with finding a gym you're comfortable with, but you also have to find a coach you're comfortable with and one that will push you and you will allow him to push you. And that's difficult sometimes to find that. Like I see a lot of people getting coached, and I just know they don't get the same love that I get.
Yeah.
You know, and then you do a great job also because you have people that come to the gym that are just here to train. You know, they don't want to fight. They just want to. Maybe they're trying to lose some weight, or they're just getting better with their hands. And you got to manage those people too.
That's what you were.
Right,
really, that's what you were to me when we first started. You were the guy that was the old guy at WNY, you know, and like I felt bad because you know like it's a fighter gym really, and they really take care of the fighters first, and you know like you were in a fight class really, so but you were always there and you're always trying, so like I would give a little bit more attention. I make sure that like those members get attention, like Jason, like for example, needs attention. He's awesome. He's probably not gonna fight. He's like a dad and got kids and shit, but he's a fucking athlete. He likes rugby too.
Yeah, he's a big rugby.
Chad are gonna get together and be good friends.
Jason is a savage.
We Elfrey too, you know.
Yeah,
like
we got
a fight,
like
competitor
for such a small, like we're a smaller community. We have some amazing fighters in this gym. Some amazing fighters, and when you look at like guys like Ilfrey, who's going to compete in the ADC. When you look at guys like,
gotta have a rock star, Alex, can't be.
Then you look at a guy like,
Rockstar.
yeah, gotta have a rock star. You look at a guy like Jason, who's a dad who loves jiu-jitsu, comes here and he just crushes it. And then you look at a guy like Jared, who works 15 hours, comes here and trains, and just absolutely smashes me.
Dude, and he lost so much weight too. Like
yeah, he's done so
awesome.
Good. He's a Marine. I don't expect anything less from him. Semper Fi.
Yeah, dude, he's a killer. Alex too. Alex, I can't say his last name, but him and his daughter train.
Yeah.
He's a really good guy too. That blue belt dude. Like those Niagara Falls guys came over. They're all really good. Ryan.
Ryan's purple belt. He's really good. And then we got some up and comers.
Ryan tapped me out with a sweaty gi. He waterboarded me, dog. I was so scared. I was like, I don't know. It's the first time I panicked in jiu-jitsu in like, I don't know, years. I'm a black belt, so like I still panic. So if you guys ever feel claustrophobia, I still get it every now and then too, and I felt it bad. So like I had to like scramble out. I just gave up my back. I didn't care. I had to get out of that position. And like I came over and I gave him my choke, and I was like, then I had to fight off the choke, and I got another choke, and I eventually had to tap. I was like, man, that was good, and I like that. I like
You like that feeling?
Yeah, like I like to like lose sometimes too. You know, like it's not good to win all the time.
What's harder, coaching or fighting?
I don't know.
I'm not talking about the obviously physically demanding is fighting, but I'm just the mental aspect. What do you think is tougher?
For me, fighting was tougher. I like to give my time, so coaching comes a little bit easier.
See, I'm the same way. I coached lacrosse for 27 years. And
I had a hard time sometimes being selfish. I was never selfish enough to really be an elite fighter. I don't know. It just didn't have what it took. And I tried, like I did my best, but it just didn't happen. So I think I'm a pretty good coach. I think I have a really good eye for fights and how things are going to play out. And I'm good at that. And I was good at that as a fighter too. And I didn't have all the physical tools I needed as a fighter to take advantage of some of that stuff, but I think I can coach my people to do that.
I think you do a really good job of doing that. You're great at watching film and breaking it down. I mean, we didn't have much on Gearhart, but you had commentated on his fights and remembered them, which was amazing. And then for Amanda's fight, you watched film of her, you commentated her fight, you saw her fight, and you know what I missed last night? Did you have the hat on?
I did not have the hat on.
That hat, all right.
I forgot the hat. I brought it. I left it in my car. I wrote down Dr. Kroll. And I have a list. I had the hat on the list of stuff to bring. I didn't bring it.
Senility. It's all right. Little old age.
I had so much stuff. I wanted to make sure I had all the tape and the gauze. I had to bring a shirt for Alyssa. I had so much stuff to bring, and like it's tough. This is the first time like I really had to make a fight kit too. Like back being white, I already had the fight kits pre-made. Like it was nice being part of a big gym and just like grab the kit and go. But now I got to make the kit, so I had to make sure I had the end swell. I had to get the ice bags. I lost my wallet, so I had to steal cash out of the petty cash to go grab everything. Like, man.
Did you find your wallet?
No, it got stolen. LA Fit stole my wallet. Their sponsor, Superfly, my wallet got stolen. Sorry.
Come on!
Yes.
Your wallet got stolen?
Yeah, all my
that
cards canceled.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Did you cancel all your cards?
Yeah, I get it right away. Happened Saturday before the gym. So, I canceled cards and I came to the gym.
So this happened yesterday?
No, last
Saturday? Okay.
Yeah. 2 Saturdays ago, not last Saturday. So that sucked.
I think like when I coached lacrosse, when I coached in college, it was all about watching film and filming and breaking film down, and so I was pretty good at that, and it's funny because you can do what you teach, right? But like you take someone like Sean McDermott, he can tell you how to block a 320-pound charging offensive line or defensive lineman, but he probably can't do it himself, but he can tell you how to do it. And that's kind of where I was. But it's cool when, how many times have I texted you at like 11:30 at night during a fight and been like, holy shit, look at this. This is exactly what you taught the other day. And it's like, it's so cool. And then when we spar, you'll do it, or I'll throw a combination that you had just taught in that class. And then I'll say, hey, that was a combo. And you're like, oh yeah, I know. And then of course you throw it back at me. And it doesn't always end very well for me. But, it's so important to have that coach that knows that, you can't just be out there. It's a dangerous sport. You can't just be out there willy-nilly.
Yeah. So I feel very confident coaching on the name. And I feel pretty confident as black belt coaching, but I'm not really super good at jiu-jitsu in the gi. So I've been studying. So I spend so much time studying too. It's very difficult to be a coach. I put a lot of time into even just teaching and making sure I'm staying up with current trends. Dude, I started learning jiu-jitsu when half guard was a bad position to be in. Now it's like a common attacking position. When I started jiu-jitsu, if you got to like half guard, I was like, oh my god, he's almost mounted.
Really?
Yeah. Like jiu-jitsu changed so much. Like everything's so different.
What do you think is the big evolution of jiu-jitsu? Was it 10th Planet, like kind of no-gi, the whole no-gi craze, and you had a bunch of no-gi guys moving in, or gi guys moving into no-gi?
I honestly think that MMA was the biggest evolution for jiu-jitsu because it just brought so many people in. And then like all these people brought different things, you know, like if the UFC didn't make it, Eddie Bravo would have never like got together and came up with all that 10 Planet stuff, you know, like if the UFC would have never been together, like all the Brazilians would probably still really be good at jiu-jitsu, but they wouldn't have the American wrestling influence.
Right.
Because the wrestlers wouldn't be doing it. So like the top games would be different, the Darts and Anacondas would be different, like the takedowns would be different. If all that happened, then no gi would have never been popular. ADCC would have never started. And you wouldn't have like all the no gi submission grappling that's super elite that we're trying to do, like Ilfrey's trying to do, you know, like it all started with the UFC, you know, like.
You know, Ilfrey is a great grappler. You know who else is a good grappler we got coming up is Evan.
Yeah, Evan's competing. Before this podcast comes out, he probably already competed, but yeah, he's competing Saturday. He's going to do a good job.
Yeah, he is. He's a savage. He took his shirt off today, and I felt like I should just leave.
I do too. I can't
him and Joe took their shirts off today. They were getting changed, and I just looked at him, and I was like, man, I should just go home.
Dude, I feel like our gym is on gear, even though we're not. Like,
Everybody's just shredded.
Yeah.
Except for me, of course. And, but yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with my son, my 17-year-old. You know, he takes his shirt off. I just look at him. I go, oh my God, what? And then I remind myself, those are my jeans, right?
Yeah, it all came from you, right?
Yeah, right.
I sure did. Man, so I really wanted to bring you in here just to like talk about like someone your age is coming out and doing jiu-jitsu because a lot of people feel like they're too old to train. So what would you say to people that think you're a little bit too old to train?
So the cool thing about jiu-jitsu is it's your own journey, right? There isn't a rush. You're going to have people that excel at it, that are really good at it, and then people that aren't. It's your own personal journey. And in terms of being an older person, it's great exercise. It's a great way to stretch. Like your muscles are constantly being used. You're using every muscle in your body. It's a great way to have like some sort of cardiovascular exercise.
It's the best. We just talked about that today, how jiu-jitsu training is a lot different than running.
Oh, yeah.
Those two giant guys that came in with all the muscles.
Yeah, there was two giant guys here today doing jiu-jitsu, and they had big, huge muscles. And the cardio, they were like, holy crap, it's a different type of cardio. But what's great about it is you find yourself a gym you're comfortable with, and you go at your own pace. I would say 99.9% of the people that are in jiu-jitsu are there to help you. They're not there to hurt you. So there's always that fear of coming and doing the first class, but once you get through that first class, you'll fall in love with it. It's fun. It's a great exercise. It's a great way to build confidence and endurance. The confidence thing is huge, man. It did so much for my confidence, and I'm not a great jiu-jitsu guy either. I try. I'm better at no gi than I am gi, but I try. And I'm not a great jiu-jitsu guy, but man, it just does wonders for my confidence. It's a great exercise. It's a great sport. And if you're thinking about doing it, you should definitely stop in. Jeff is a great coach, and he works with us older. We got a couple older guys in here.
We got Amanda's dad too. We got you.
Yep. There's a couple older guys.
I'm pretty old. I'm old for the sport.
Yeah, but you're young at heart, man. But we got, Jason's got a bunch of kids. Jared's got kids. I mean, we got some older guys in here, and we train, and you just, hey, man, my shoulders hurt today, so just be careful on my shoulder. Or if you don't feel like rolling, you don't have to roll. It's your own journey, and it's great. And then there's some times that I'll be like feeling frisky and I'll roll with somebody younger than me and stronger than me. And then I remember 2 minutes into it why I don't roll with people like that.
Okay, so we're getting close to closing out here, but I gotta tell one story before we get out of here.
Oh, here we go.
So
Here we go.
we have this girl that came in, and like the story's gonna be famous all over the internet now. But so this girl Melinda, and she competes at Worlds, Pans, it goes all over the place. So she's super good, and she's tiny. So like she's tiny. She looks young.
She don't look like a World's competitor.
I can see where Butch would think that because she's petite. You look at her.
Not
made up. Her hair is real nice.
Yeah, she's
like,
super awesome.
Yeah, she looks like kind of like a normal person, not like a savage. As she gets on the mat, she's doing awesome. I removed that. She does like perfect. And Butch said, "Man, you're pretty good for your first day."
I thought it was her first day. I don't know. I was like watching her, and I'm like, man, it's her first day. It's really good because I saw Amanda and her working together. So I was trying to be nice. I went up to her. I go, man, it was really, really good for your first day. And as nice as she is, she didn't even say anything. She just said thanks and like walked away, probably a little pissed off at me, and rightly so. And Jeff comes up to her and goes, "Do you know who she is? Do you know?" Like, and he just started rattling off all the things she did, and I felt about that big. But yeah, it's a good story. And,
I like it because I tease Butch, and I tease Butch a lot because I love him.
Yeah. It's all right, man. It's part of the relationship. But if you are thinking about doing jiu-jitsu, definitely find a gym. But this is a great gym. You can come here. We have a lot of older guys that are training. You can train in the gi, no gi, whatever you're comfortable with. You can come and watch a class or just kind of check out a class. We had a guy do that, right?
Yeah,
Mick did that. He came and watched for a couple days. And then he decided that's what I want to do. And he came and,
I thought it might be a homeless guy giving your wife's cookies.
Yeah, right. And now he's training. He's doing really good. He's doing privates. He's all about it, man. And I think it would be great. It would be great to get more older people in here, and maybe we'd get to a point where we can have, maybe an over 40 class. That would be awesome.
And you get a lot more people for that.
Yeah.
I would be down for that. I'm over 40.
Yeah, see, you'd be over it, and the conditioning, and you just do what you're capable of, and that's what makes it great.
It's really supposed to be a sport where you use your knowledge and body awareness and technique and leverage to overcome someone that's bigger and stronger than you. A lot of places jiu-jitsu is taught as a sport, so it's taught a lot more athletically because if you're obviously competing in a sport, it's two younger, equally sized people, and you're actively competing to score points and get a submission. But I believe in self-defense and stuff too, so we're kind of like older school jiu-jitsu mixed with like new school jiu-jitsu. So
yeah, we got some new school guys in here, like Ilfrey is. He's amazing with that. But for us older guys, it's more about technique and mastering your cardio and being able to breathe properly for 5 minutes and yeah.
And just coming to a place of like-minded people. Like sometimes I just come here not me because I get paid to come here, but when I was training, I would just come in to be around people that are positive. Like there's so much negativity in the world. Like it's hard to be negative here.
It is. Nobody will let you be negative here.
Yeah.
No, it's super positive and it's a good feeling. And I'll tell you, once you walk through that door the first time and you step on the mat for the first time, you won. You won that battle. And that's what the battle is. It's just getting through that door. And once you get through the door, sky's the limit.
Yeah, and if you don't feel that in the gym you're at, you should find a different gym. Like if you don't feel that here, you should move on, right? Like every gym has a different vibe, and you gotta find one that fits for you. And like I recommend Booma. Like Booma's another really nice place if you're an older person. They're in the city. Where another place? I don't know. I'd recommend you the best. 133 Strada Avenue. Just come here. Just give me your money. I need money more than all them people. They got big gyms.
Oh my gosh, that's such a terrible business.
What's that?
That was so bad. No, they should come here because you're amazing. That's why they should come here.
I need your money more than you need my amazing, probably, but I'll give you as much amazing as I can for that money.
Yeah, Caveman hasn't eaten in 3 days, so gotta help him out, man.
I didn't eat last night till like 11 o'clock. I don't have my wallet, so I don't have a lot of money. I can't go get food.
I know when you were coming out and I gave you that hug and I was like, man, I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you, you know, because I was happy for the gym.
Yeah.
And that's a cool feeling, right? Like I drove 2.5 hours to watch my teammate fight. And I was just as excited and nervous if it was me out there. Like, it was like it was awesome, and it was because it was my gym, right? And I belonged to that gym, and I was proud and happy for the gym. Gym's 2-0 right now, and it's an amazing feeling, and it's really cool. And seeing your teammates be successful, and there was other teammates there, and that was cool. And I did see Melinda there, and I wanted to say hi to her, but I was too embarrassed to say hi to her, so I didn't say hi. So Melinda, if you're watching this, hi.
It's okay, I'll push her out. She got stuck in her car.
Oh, did you? Yeah, the way they had people parking there was
oh my God, yeah.
They had us park. I said to the guy, I go, this is the ground. I'm like, I hope you have a tow truck, because, dude, there's going to be people getting stuck.
Yeah, we pushed her out. We got her out.
Oh.
Yeah, so we had to push Melinda out, so you're welcome, Melinda.
Yeah.
I'm glad you were driving instead of Lena. That she was going to drive right into the car in front of her, so it was good. That we got a purple about driving.
Well, it was fun, and yep. All right.
I forgot. I had lost my train of thought. I was going to say something right before. What were we talking about right before? Family. So, this is the one thing I want to say about the gym. So, when a gym starts, everyone gets really, really tight, and it's like a family. Like, that happened to me a couple times when I first at Buffalo BJJ with Crew Mark, and then it happened for a little while at Booma, but I was never really at Booma, and it happened for a little while at WNY when Herbert was there every day. Like, a gym becomes a family to you, and it's really easy to lose that. And as an owner here, I plan to be here all the time. I don't plan to do too many other things or like shift my attention away from this part of the business. And I want to try and keep that family atmosphere here. So I work very hard to work on that more than on people. So there's a lot of people I don't invite just because I don't want them to come and affect the atmosphere here. And I want the atmosphere here to always be this family-like atmosphere. So that's really my goal for here. And I want it to stay like it is, like where we're all free to say whatever we want. And like, you know, Amanda's going to be over here crying about something, so we're all just laugh, whatever, you know, we go around and we do our things. Or, you know, then Ilfrey's going to have his family here. There's going to be like 20 Hernandez's that we got to choke out when they're all throwing us around when they're 13. And then we got some guy training for wrestling tournament, but we're going to help him today. And then tomorrow Jared needs some work on a slide by, so we're going to help Jared. And then, you know, the next time Amanda's going to be able to fight, so we'll all take care of her. And then it's going to be my turn to fight. And then, like, I break everyone's ankles. Sorry, Alex. And then, like we all got to take turns taking care of each other. And I want to make sure that we always keep that selflessness.
And lifted each other up, too.
Like, we always want to lift each other up, and that's important to me. So if you guys are watching that, like, thank you from the bottom of my heart that we have a gym like this. This has been a dream of mine since I started fighting to make this happen. And like, I couldn't think of a better person to sit. And I haven't really had a podcast talking about entirety. I've been so busy since like I started over here, and I couldn't think of a better guy to bring it out than you, Mr. Eugene.
So at my fight, so my real name is Eugene. Nobody calls me that. Maybe my mother and my aunt, when they get mad at me. My Aunt Judy does. Hi, AJ. So, anyway, so my fight happens. I win, and Jeff wasn't only coaching me, but he was also the commentator for the fight. So I see him run and grab the mic, and I'm like, oh, here we go. So he gets in the ring, and first words out of his mouth, Eugene, let's go, Butch Chadwick, how's it feel to win? And I was like, oh, man. And I think if you watch it, there's like a slight 2-second pause there, because I'm like, I can't believe you just said that in front of all these people. But that's the gym family, you know, that's love. And it was really cool, you know. My fight name is Harvester of Sorrow. He never called me that, but he called me.
That's a lot of words to say.
Yeah, he called me Eugene. Made sure he got that in there, and that was cool. And I appreciate you having me on, because it is different being an older person, training in a gym, especially with a lot of fighters and up and comers and guys that are super athletic and built and muscly, and what helps that environment is a family environment, because those guys, as big and as athletic as they are, will take time out and roll with me. And when they roll with me, it's different than when they roll with each other. And that's kind of like what you were talking about, right?
It doesn't happen everywhere.
No, it doesn't happen like that. They're not out there to try and tap me 75 times in 5 minutes, which there's a couple of them that can, but they're out there to try and make me better. In order to make me better, they're being a good partner and they're helping themselves. And that's what builds that family atmosphere. And I know that. I know that when they're rolling with me, But it's cool to have that, and it's really like I can see like I don't know. I've never. This is all I've ever known. This is all I've ever known, and I love it.
I'm glad I could be your first experience.
You were my first.
I'm glad you waxed your bow for me.
Yeah. Great, thanks. All right, man.
I got one more thing to say. All right, before we got here, I want to thank Jen so much. So I rewatched the film, and this is one of the things that filled me happy. When Butch won, I just saw her jump up so high when
Jen is my wife.
Yeah. That was amazing, dude. Like, she jumped so high, and like she's in great shape, and she comes in and she's doing Muay Thai now. It's great to watch you guys work together. But that just made me so happy watching her be so excited when you won, and like go to try and run up the steps. I'd be like, I can't go in yet.
Yeah, she was. My wife is the best, man. She's the salt of the earth, and I really couldn't be where I am right now without her. She makes me a better person, a better man. And what's cool is there's a fine balance between training and family life, and you want to go home and have things be peaceful. And sometimes when you have a good support system and your best friends in your corner like that, it makes things really easy, and she did. Now she just has to let me fight again.
And when she gives me the okay, we'll get you another fight.
You got to give the okay, babe. You got to give the okay.
All right, with that, Ray's eating a Whopper, so he's not here. Cavemans Corner's out.
Out.
I'm here with your winner, Butch Chadwick. You're closer to 70 than you are to 20, Eugene. How do you feel getting this win?
It shows that age is just a number. It doesn't matter what your struggle is, what you got going on. Age is just a number, man. I'm 54 and 1 year away from being a senior citizen. There you go, baby.
Looks like I rocked a little bit. Put it back in the corner. What did you feel like when he hit you? Were you stunned?
The one shot he got me good. It was a good right hand. But before I go any further, I just want to say thanks to you, to Doug, my boy John, who sparred with me at 4:30, 5:30 in the morning, and of course my beautiful wife. Woo! Let's go!